It's on record right now.
Okay, all right, so we'll start. What I want to do in this session is we're going to talk a little bit further about the cell idea, and then this is my cell. You know, Russ, who's invisible, or excuse me, Jeff, who's invisible, Russ, who changed his name just now, Larry, and me, I'm Tony. But we've been meeting for most of the year, and we're going to show you what we do. And so before we do that, can I have one of those? Thank you. I want to just talk a little bit further about the cell concept. We talked about this a little bit before. First off, let me hear from a few of you guys. If you were in a relational community of coaches, what would you want from it? What would be valuable to you that you could get from your peers by forming a community or meeting more regularly?
Accountability.
Tina says accountability. What else?
Encouragement.
And feel free and give me more than a word. In what way would you want to be encouraged?
Just know it's on the right track.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Helpful challenges from people who know how to ask good questions to get you where you need to go.
Okay.
Somebody to bounce ideas off of.
Okay. Jerry?
Well, if I can amplify the accountability piece, you know, the Holy Spirit is constantly giving us ideas for how to promote our coaching services, the things that we offer. And many times we'll just ignore it or let the busyness of the day just go whizzing by. But if you're in a cell group, that they can begin to encourage you to develop that idea, to hold you accountable, moving it forward. I think that's a key.
Okay.
And just taking off on that, accountability to live and walk out a balanced life like you should as a coach.
One of the things that I look for is my dad, when he got this illness that he eventually died of, where he lost his lung capacity, and it got to the place where it was hard for him to even walk somewhere, and he had to carry oxygen around with him and stuff. But he had a friend who went to see him every single day at work, you know, in his illness. And, you know, I want to have friends like that at the end of my life. So for me, one of my goals is I want to be cultivating friendships with people that can last a lifetime. So that's one goal for me.
Just like to speak to the issue of accountability. I struggle with the word accountability because for me a lot of accountability is sin management or behavioral management, and so I struggle with that word. I think for me, I like the concept Tony talks about is life accountability, and really accountability to your desires, to your, you know, what is it really in your heart. And so I like to use the word support more than really accountability, that we're here to really seek to understand each other, support each other, love each other, and give courage to each other.
So the thing that you're looking for is people to walk with you and help you be faithful to what you really want in life and to your call and to...
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And obviously that involves accountability to my actions, but it's more than my actions, it's really to my heart. Yeah. What kind of man do I really want to be? What kind of friend do I really want to be?
Okay.
I think an important thing in our situation is Tony invited us into this group, and we had a trial period because I was a bit dubious because I have a significant amount of community already, and so that was very helpful to me to say, okay, we're going to meet 3 or 4 times, whatever we agreed upon, and then, you know, if you want to stay, fine. If you don't, fine. No pressure. And it's actually been very beneficial for me because this is a different type of community than the other elements of community I have. So we decided, all 4 of us decided to re-up after the initial period.
I think a really neat thing happened in development for us. I don't know if you're willing to talk about this. Obviously, putting on.
If you don't, Jeff will. Let me stop you for just a minute. We'll come right back to that. Okay. Anybody else from the group, what you want? Because we're going to have time to talk about our forming and storming too. Other things that you want.
Active listening and processing.
active listening, people that, it's nice to meet with a group of people that know how to listen.
And along that line, really focused feedback. I mean, really strong and focused feedback.
Okay. Lynn, you were
More
gonna say something?
specifically, feedback. I like a group because I get feedback on how I can better serve those that I have a sphere of influence with. So it helps me to refine my focus to be a better server.
Okay. And the sphere of influence thing is there's something you get from people who are walking in your vocation that you don't get from just Joe whoever out there.
Just one more piece, and then I was reminded of this, thinking of the conversations that I had with Larry when I was taking him through coach training, and he was just starting what he's doing. And I think one of the most valuable things is the encouragement that you give, okay? Somebody says, well, I'm thinking about this. And I can remember telling him, brother, what you've got is a worldwide vision. Why are you talking about something just for one state? You know, and it's that kind of encouragement I think that you would get from a group that you would deny, you know, in your life if you didn't have that.
That's good.
Sit somewhere else.
Anybody else, something particular that you would want from a group of people that would walk with you in this way?
I think of coaches coming together that are all coaches is iron sharpening iron. I mean, learning from one another. We've all had experiences as coaches, and how can we learn from each other?
Okay, good. So let me just, again, the reason for the cell thing is if we want to be a relational network, a yearly gathering isn't a real, there's relationship there, but to me, a lot of the things that you've expressed, it's not going to do it, or it's going to do it at a not nearly as significant level as it could be. So for me, finding a structure that lets us relate throughout the year is much more powerful than a structure like this that lets us relate once a year and then doesn't provide any. You know, again, I'm sure a lot of you will call each other and do things together, but there's something about regularity and intentionality that accomplishes things that unstructured ways don't. So real quick, what a cell is, and this is repeat from this morning, but for the sake of the tape, a group of 3 to 5 coaches that meet at least monthly. Some people have brought up the idea of couples. Again, you'd have to figure out how many people you can get on a call before it gets too unwieldy, but that would probably be 2 to 3 couples that meet together regularly. Our group meets virtually. Larry's in Alabama, Russ is in Texas, you're in Maryland, I'm in Virginia. So we've tacked a day onto the end of this conference where we're going to hang out. Since we're all together and can actually do something, we're going to have some fun together. And it may be that we end up as a group having a tradition where we have an extra day wherever we meet for our yearly gathering where the cells can get together and just hang out on their own. I think that would be cool. So 3 to 5 coaches meeting monthly, can be virtually. Everybody doesn't have to be in RCN as long as some people are. And the purpose of the thing is to walk out our values and our vision. This thing I passed out, which is sort of our cell guidelines or handbook, this is a couple pages of a much longer document, but it's not, again, we're not trying to do this with a bunch of rules. We're trying to create a values-based setup. So there's some guidelines, and this first page of guidelines is built into our values. Because we're trying to create an authentic community that comes directly from our values, we're going to meet often. Because our mission's building a spiritual foundation, our agenda is going to go beyond just practice building and skill development things. So what we're going to do flows out of our mission and our vision, and this is just some guidelines for what that might look like. Again, we're basically going to trust you and say, we believe in your ability to create a community. We believe in your ability as coaches to look at a set of values and come up with something creative that expresses that. So we don't have a whole bunch of regulations for this, and nobody's going to be checking up on you and asking you for file reports and that kind of stuff. We just want you to demonstrate our values and walk out our mission.